Before I begin my not so boring speech about boredom, I have a question I'd like for you to think of. What do you do when you're bored? Now, I'll give you a little bit of time to think, but I'm sure that almost all of you, if not all of you, would have think of something along the lines of using your phone, or your laptop, or your countless of other devices. Well, that is exactly my point today, ladies and gentlemen. In today's age, boredom and ennui, a feeling of listlessness and dissatisfaction arising from a lack of occupation and excitement, is easy to stay involved with the unlimited access we high schoolers have to entertainment with a single touch on an electronic device. Now, instead of finding ways to combat an ennui and work through it, we eliminate them completely. And that is the issue here. Doing so might resolve the issue for a while. However, it suppresses the deeper and the inner thought that would have surfaced during the now non-existent period of boredom. In today's world, the association of high school students and the term boredom carries a negative connotation. However, in order to make boredom synonymous with creativity, people must understand that boredom provokes thought and stimulates the mind or works, and it turns and twists its gears to generate creative thoughts. Now, I'd like to begin with the definition of boredom itself. What is boredom? Well, according to Merriam-Webster, boredom is a state of being weary and restless with lack of interest. Notice how it's almost described as an illness, a sickness that one must be wary of. The question here is why and how do we have this adverse image of boredom in our minds? Well, we have Charles Dickens to thank for that. One of the most well-known English writer and social critic to ever live, with I'm sure the majority of you know of, and Kierkegaard, a Danish philosopher, theologian, poet, social critic, and religious author specializing in Christianity, which I'm sure the majority of you have not heard of. Well, those guys are who we have to thank. Boredom has long been regarded as a negative mental state, ever since the creation of this word. The word bore joined the household of the English language in 1852, when Charles Dickens adapted the word to bore, meaning to pierce or wear down in his novel Bleak Mind, which was used to depict a bleak mental state. As if the word hasn't been battered enough by literature, Kierkegaard, the Danish philosopher, looked at the word from a religious view and somehow managed to tie it back to the devil. He said that boredom is the root of all evil. It's as very curious that boredom, which itself has such a calm and sedate nature, can have such a capacity to initiate motion. The effect that boredom brings about is absolutely magical, but this effect is not one of attraction, but of repulsion. This relates directly to a proverb from the Living Bible. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. Idle lips are his mouthpiece. A worthless man devises mischief, and in his lips there's a scorching fire. Long before the word boredom even came to existence, the idea of being lazy was always viewed negatively. And when it did come into existence, the words lazy and boredom became synonymous. And thanks to that, the word boredom gained a negative connotation, which stuck on like a parasite, refusing to let go. However, every parasite can be rid of, if you find the appropriate cure, that is. In this case, that parasite is a thought, an idea, instilled deep in the minds of the people. And consequently, the cure will not be ordinary, simple. The cure to this almost unnoticeable parasite is a paradigm shift. A shift in people's understanding of the word boredom. A shift to transform a plague resulting in unproductivity to a blessing in disguise. A catalyst for creativity and productivity. Something that is slowly slipping away from our generation. It is time to change the way that us, high school students, deal with boredom. But before that, we must change the meaning of boredom itself. From the root of all evil, it must become the root of all creativity. Now, even Kierkegaard, someone who views boredom as a fire of evil, described boredom as a precursor to creation. He said, "The gods were bored, therefore they created human beings." And I say that human beings were bored, therefore we created God. Thank you.